Hello, everyone. It is Harmony and Hooves, episode 5, growth. Today we are going to talk about the basic need of growth that both horse and human share. Horse and women is our focus here. Just to recap, we are going through the 6 basic needs horses and women share in common. They're in a specific order because with each need being fulfilled, it's easier to embrace and embody the next need. And when we get them all being equally addressed, then we have a nice flow. So if you imagine a circle with 6 sections in it, each one having its own personal need, as we fulfill each need, we're better prepared to go on to the next need. So the first one, we're just going to recap them. The first one is certainty, knowing that our basic needs are going to be met, our safety's met, we have a routine. Horses and humans thrive on routines. Then we go on to variety. And once we feel safe and secure and confident that our needs are being met through certainty, then variety comes in. And we love, horses like humans, love to have things mixed up in their life. Now, what do I mean by that? Not our routines. That's hard for a lot. A lot of beings don't do well with change. Others thrive on change. Variety is looking forward to something. When we spend time with our horses, do we do the same old thing day in and day out? Is it always about training? Is it always about strengthening? Is it always about achieving our personal goals at the expense of our horses? And I believe at the expense of ourselves. I have my 2 dogs in the background. Sorry. Hey, Whiskey. We have the little blue heeler picking on the older blue heeler. Sorry, I didn't lock him up. Stop. Gonna knock him out. I mean, not knock him out. Lock him out. There you go. All right. So how's that for a little variety in our lives? So back to, a lot of us get so goal oriented with our horses. Hi there, January. Thank you. Thank you for joining. A lot of us get so focused on our goals that we get locked into a training routine or a workout routine, and we don't add variety, and that's what creates burnout. So be sure to add variety into your life, especially with your horses. Horses love to play games. They love to problem solve. They love team working sports. That's why they're so amazing in the equine experiential growth realm, in helping people to get more creative and use their imagination. Then we move on to significance. We all need to feel significant, horses and women. We need to know that we matter. We need to know that people care about us, and that we have a voice and we have a choice. Women and horses are so often silenced. We're made to behave or believe that we have to behave in a certain way. And that diminishes our significance. We're taught, women, we need to be pretty, we need to be polite, we need to be compassionate and nurturing, and we need to not speak out. And that is diminishing our significance. And horses that are not allowed to have a voice, that are made to acquiesce in a daily routine or a training program, where they're micromanaged, and we micromanage out of fear. But anyway, we micromanage, right, Kristen? Gotta love them healers. We knocked the puppy out. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare for that earlier. But our horses are so often silenced. They are expected to do what we want to do, and they're expected to do it well, and they're expected to enjoy it. And they don't always. Sometimes they're insecure. Sometimes they're lacking confidence. Sometimes they don't feel good. I have a couple Mustangs here that I had high hopes of being my partners on the trail and teaching with me. And neither one of them want to be under saddle. They absolutely hate it. Now I have a theory about that. I think it had to do with their starting, but the result is they don't like it. So why would I make them? They both are phenomenal at helping women discover their authentic selves, discover their voices, discover that goddess warrior within. So that's how those two mares, Mustang mares, express their significance. Then we went on to love and connection. And love is such a broad spectrum, but we all thrive on love and connection. And how we connect with our horses that way is I love to teach because I practice 90% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, putting my heart in my hand before I touch my horse or a horse. Putting my heart in my hand before I halter them, before I pick up that lead rope, before I pick up those reins, before I put a saddle on. I have my heart in my hands so that I can let them know and feel the love and the connection between the two. Love and connection is what makes relationships work. And what we're doing here with our horses, I hope, if you're joining me here, you share in this, you're aligned with me. But what I believe having a horse in our lives is all about is the opportunity for one of the most amazing relationships we will ever experience. And one of the most powerful partnerships we will ever be a part of. Because these guys are big, powerful, amazing, sentient beings that are often a mirror of ourselves. And so the relationship is what creates the partnership, and what creates that relationship is getting all of these 6 needs fulfilled within ourselves and within our horses. So love and connection is where it's all about. We are in a shit show of a world right now, and it's because we have replaced love and connection with fear and control. Another video, not my video, but love and connection. So today we're going to go on to growth. And it's pretty funny. I'm going to do a little side disclaimer. I didn't feel very good before this video. I kind of even contemplated postponing it, but I'm on a mission to grow myself as a horsemanship coach and mentor, that I'm not going to miss any of these unless I have a migraine, and that's going to kick my butt. But so I decided, nope, I'm getting on here. And you know what? I am like fired up to talk about this next section in our wheel of the 6 basic needs, and that's growth. And what does that mean? Well, I'm in this mastermind course right now. It's to grow me as a speaker and a presenter and a teacher and a mentor. And it is kind of kicking my butt a little bit. It's pushing me way out of my comfort zone to have me show up and be seen. And so that's growth. I spent the entire day in the mastermind course, and it is a lot, but it's perfect because it's all about growth, and they are stretching me out of my comfort zone and wonky with my piece of the pie that's certainty. And it's certainly given me a lot of variety, and it's gonna help me with my significance. And really, really what drives it all is my love and my connection, my desire to connect with all of you so that you connect with all of your horses in a way that is absolutely life-changing, not just for you, but for your horse. And not just for you and your horse, but for every relationship in your life, including the one you have with yourself. So that's my story of growth today. So how does that show up with our horses? Well, horses and humans both need to grow in order to live the life we've always dreamed of living. Now, do horses dream of living a life? I think they're more in the present moment. And what do they think about growth? They thrive on growth. They begin it the minute they hit the ground, and they're expected to stand up within a couple hours or their life could be taken. They hit the ground growing. How do we help them grow? Well, we teach them what life is like with humans. And we teach them how to do the things they naturally do, but to do it with a human. And hopefully, we're teaching them how to do it with certainty, variety, significance, love, and growth, love and connection, and now leads to them wanting to grow with us. So becoming the best you can be for your horse requires that you be willing to grow. A lot of women that I first start working with hire me because they want their horses to be better. Yet, they're not necessarily interested in working on themselves. A lot of them don't stay with me for very long because my philosophy is first we must grow within ourselves, striving to be the best that we can be in any given moment. And our horses mirror that for us. They also mirror the things we don't often want to see. And it's super easy for us to blame it on them. And it's really hard to look at ourselves and go, if my horse is a reflection of me, what are they teaching me? So when we show up authentically and being willing to be vulnerable and uncomfortable and grow together with our horses, amazing things happen. We get more confident. They get more confident. We begin to trust ourselves more. We begin to trust them more. And then they trust us and themselves more. We discover that it feels really good to open our hearts and connect with them on that heart and soul spiritual connection, that level. And then they are willing to be vulnerable enough to connect with us. We learn about the language, the universal language of body language that we're speaking so frequently, unconsciously, totally aware of what we're saying to people, but mostly to horses, because that is their language. But when we take this journey of growth with them, we learn to speak their language. We learn to master the universal language. We speak more deliberately and consciously. And therefore, we're understood more clearly. That's what horses thrive on. Their bullshit meters are the best in the world. So when we're trying to bullshit our way through a situation, they get it, they know it. If we're listening to them, they'll tell us. So we have to be willing to show up, be seen, own our messiness, and be willing to walk through the fire with them. I worked with one of my young horses here. He's not young, but he hasn't had the attention I wish I would have been able to give him. But I've been doing it now. And I brought him up to play with him on the ground yesterday. I was actually going to ride him, put on, I think it would be like his 14th ride, maybe. He was a hot mess. He was a mess. He could not collect himself mentally or emotionally. And so I just needed to be present with him and take it back to remedial basics with him and guide him and support him through that emotional regulation so that his mind could engage. We ended on a good note, but that was a growing period, for a growing session for the two of us in our relationship. And me not getting frustrated because I had another plan. And showing up for this little Mustang in a way that provided him the environment to grow a little bit more. We didn't make huge progress, but we made progress. And that's growth. And that matters in our relationship. Growth begins with being willing to be vulnerable, willing to get out of your comfort zone, willing to have the courage and the confidence and the willingness, might have said willing already, to get your horses a little bit out of their comfort zone, into that learning zone, but don't put them into the panic zone. That is achieved by setting goals. Goals that the two of you can achieve together. And when you work with somebody like me, my job, my program, my jam is teaching women and horses how to come together in the most incredible bond, aka relationship, where they're both seen and they're heard and they're respected and they're honored. And they know that they have significance in the relationship. And when I can help them begin to do that, then the partnership begins. And the partnership is a 51-49. And the reason it's 50, it's not 50-50, is because 51 is our job as the leader. The 49 is their job as being our partner. And we're not just a leader, we're an inclusive leader. And that takes the willingness to grow beyond where you are in your understanding of not only horses, but horsemanship and yourself. I awaken awareness in women so that they can help awaken it in their horses. And it's all about growth. But we have to make sure we bring in those first four. And it's my job to help you bring that up in yourself and up in your horse, so that together there can be growth. So setting goals that are obtainable and not be so fixated on the goals that you sacrifice the relationship. I see a lot of women set some pretty amazing goals, but so often I also see it be at the expense of the relationship. Their horses become part of the tools to get the job done and are not honored as the partner or their relationship. And the horse gets sour and things start going south. When you come up against challenges with your horse, it's a team effort to resolve it. And how that happens is we first become aware of ourselves. Do I have the skills, the knowledge, and the tools and the understanding on how to achieve the goal that we're trying to achieve? And why has this new behavioral challenge or way of getting things accomplished challenge shown up? Like all of a sudden he won't pick up the correct lead, or he doesn't want me to catch him, or he's he won't move forward. I can't get him to go. We first have to look in and ask ourselves, what has changed within me? What might I be doing? Or what have I stopped doing? And you know, it's an honest introspection. And most often, unless the horse has a physical issue where they're literally uncomfortable, don't feel good, or they have a mental burnout because they've just been grilled and grilled and grilled and grilled, and no variety has been added into the spice of life, or emotionally something has disrupted their certainty. That's the horse's rule. You know, they don't, and I guess I'm not sure if I included this. They simply might not know what you're trying to get them to do, and therefore it's back on you. You got to break it down so you know that your horse knows, and you know what your horse doesn't know, so that you can teach them and help them. Normally it's with us. Most of the time it's with us, and then we have to figure out what's missing. What have I started doing that I shouldn't do? Is this a realistic goal? The one thing that I really like to teach my babies, my wild Mustangs, as they're in their training process, I like to teach my women and their horses is everything we do has steps within it. Everything we do with horses has a number of steps within each thing we do. So when something's not working and we're trying to grow, part of that growth sometimes is taking a step back and going, what am I trying to achieve? All right, within that goal, it's got 8 steps. So I believe I know what the 8 steps are, but does my horse know what those steps are? So how do we find that out? Put our little detective hats on with the curiosity knob turned way up, and we ask, can you do step 1? Yep. Can you do 2? Yep. Can you do 3? Yep. Can you do 4? Nope. Can I help you learn how to do 4? I think so. So then you work on step 4. And when you think they've got it, then you go back. We can do step 1, we can do step 2, we can do step 3. Oh, look at step 4 just rolled out naturally. Step 5, step 6, step 7. 7's broken. There's no 7. All right, let's work on 7. How do I teach step 7? You teach them when you feel like they've got them, then you go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just naturally happens. That's growth. But remember, we are the leaders in this partnership. We're inclusive leaders. So sometimes we don't know that we're missing a step. And our horses are not able to help us achieve our goal, and we blame it on them. But it's not them. When we're willing to do introspection, check in with yourself. What do I know? Break it down. I don't know how to do step 5. I didn't even know there was more than 4 steps. Then you have to set out to learn how to do what you're trying to achieve so that you and your horse can do it. So sometimes it's not happening. Our goals are not being achieved because, all right, Paradise Waits, Mustang Sanctuary. I don't understand what your comment was. My mind and poop. Hi, Fane, glad you could join us. So when we're working as a team and we're trying to grow in our partnership and our relationship, if something isn't working, the first place you go is within. The normal thing we do, the normal reaction, is to blame it on the horse. Or get frustrated with the horse and then blame it on ourselves. I'll never get this. I have a client that for years she would always say, I'll never get this. I'll never get this. Well, that's a self-proclaimed prophecy. She's going to fulfill that because that's her belief. So I'm oh my word, my phone is in my pocket. I'm things aren't going wrong. We're trying to grow. We're trying to achieve goals. We're trying to achieve our dreams. No matter what they are, they're all great as long as it includes the horse as a partner and not a tool. And when things aren't going the way we want them to go, stop, pause, deep breaths down into your power center, 3 inches below your belly button, get grounded, give your horse a break. And think about what it is you're trying to achieve. And do you know the steps to get there? Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, that's the first thing you need to do. Take the pressure off your horse, let him go graze, create a plan. Then, within the plan, what are the steps? And make them achievable. Don't make them lofty. Don't make them too difficult. Everything is achieved so much more complete and fulfilling when we take little steps instead of trying to achieve it all. And we often put such unfair expectations on ourselves and our horses that we set us up for failure, and that ruins the desire in each partner. So have a plan, realistic goals. When things aren't working, first check in with yourself. Do I know what I'm even doing? And if you do, then break it down and check your steps. And if you know each step, then check your steps with your horse and make sure that you are communicating it clearly and that your horse understands. If you do that, it's going to flow. You're going to achieve it. And if you don't, then make sure you reach out for help. I am always here in this Facebook group and on my business page. Ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I love to connect. I love to help women and horses create a deep, meaningful bond so that they can have a partnership that will take them to endless possibilities. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Next week, we're gonna be the sixth of the last of the 6 human needs, which is contribution. Comment in the comments how you achieve growth in your relationship, how you feel about it, and we will see you guys next week.